we have a real issue in this region with families and individuals who are hungry.
And I went to her afterwards and asked if she was okay. And she's like, this is the first time I felt peace, that I can take care of my family.
A significant portion of women, pregnant women, are having to go out of the county to get prenatal care or deliver their babies.
Hey everybody, how you been? It's another episode of Stick a Fork in It. And of course, we have an amazing new guest for this show, Lisa Bell. Lisa Bell is with BayCare, which is a huge partner of Feeding Tampa Bay and really a number of nonprofits in the community. But before we get into all of our work together, which is massive, okay, Feeding Tampa Bay has had two opportunities to be in People magazine, okay? First one was Taylor Swift. So we were one of the first food banks that she went public, that she was donating money to. So when that launched out and the word got out, she was donating to food banks. We were part of it. But now, anytime the media mentions that how philanthropic she is, she gave money to Feeding Tampa Bay every single time. I will tell you, a week does not go by that it doesn't come up on my monitoring system that somebody mentioned Taylor Swift and Feeding Tampa Bay, which I really love. But just as important, BayCare made People magazine. And we were first of all, you guys could have chosen any picture you wanted to show, and you chose us. So tell us a little bit about how you were honored in People magazine and choosing us as your partner to highlight.
Yeah, so People magazine every year does a Companies Who Care campaign, and they select a variety of different companies from multiple disciplines.
Yeah.
And they feature them within People magazine. Mm-hmm. And we were really pleased to be the top health system recognized in this most recent Companies Who Care. And the reason that I think we were recognized as we were was our work and our partnership with Feeding Tampa Bay. We spoke a lot about that. So we talk, we present or submit information to People magazine, and then they make that decision.
Yeah, but a lot of people do that. So don't downplay at all. I think, you're talking about this, and it's really kind of giving me chills about it, because to be honored like that, it's something you apply, but you guys all work so hard at what you do in investing in the community. So first, before we get into that, what is your title and what is your role at BayCare?
So I am the Director of Community Benefit, and I lead all of our community benefit and community health needs assessment work across our 4-county, 16-hospital region.
Okay, and we started, how long ago did we start?
It was
a long time.
2018-ish, we started having conversations about
and I think we started
insecurity.
Doing things in 2019, right?
We did. Yeah.
So it's been a crazy and wonderful journey, and it's built and built and built. And, most often in the shows, it's like we ask people what they need. You guys do the same thing.
Yeah.
But when we started working with you, I found it so fascinating, and I think it's so important for people to understand how a healthcare company invests in their community and how much that investment is. People are going to be staggered by that. But also, you want to keep people out of your hospitals. You want to intervene into their lives where you can make them healthier. You want folks, when they come out of the hospital, to have the food and nutrition and exercise and everything that they need to succeed. So you're basically investing your time, your effort, your funds to keep people from being in the hospital. Tell me about that, because I never knew that until we worked together. And I think that is the most magical thing I ever heard, that you're really supporting the community's overall health altogether.
Yeah, thanks for that. That's a great segue into a conversation around why do we want people to stay out of our hospitals? You would think that hospital systems would want people to be in our system. We don't, right? We want them to seek care when they need it, at the right time, at the right place, right?
Right.
And if they don't need us, we can provide a connector, so to speak, to community organizations who are better positioned to help in some situations than we are as a health system, we want to be able to do that. And I think that is reflective of our work with Feeding Tampa Bay and how we took our first leap of faith, if you will, as a partner.
Yes.
To now where we've woven this matrix of programs to really impact communities. And our, honestly, our communities consist of our patients, right?
Yes.
So it's one and the same.
Yes, absolutely.
And being the largest health system in the region, we see a lot of patients.
You do.
So,
You do.
yeah.
Yeah. So our first dive in together, we were all so very excited about. It was the first health connection in a food bank in all of Feeding America, which we're part of the Feeding America Network, which is 200 food banks. Every county in the United States has a food bank. We have 10 counties that we take care of, but every county in the United States has a food bank that's connected to them, right? So, and we all work very differently. But our partnership with you guys, you wanting to do that, us being able to do that, I mean, that's another time where we got a lot of recognition for thinking about more than just giving food. It was kind of the start of Feeding Tampa Bay's journey and our journey together into, intervening and making sure people were healthy and had what they needed. Mm-hmm. So what has your favorite program been so far, or the most meaningful? I don't want to say favorite because you can't have one.
Yeah.
But we have a lot. We're going to explain every single one of them.
Okay.
But what one resonates with you most?
I think where we started, Shannon, we put a lot of time and effort into our healing bag program.
Yes.
And we started this conversation back in 2019 based on data that we had collected through our community health needs assessment. You all know how to utilize data. We utilize data.
Yes.
And it didn't take a rocket scientist to look at the data and say, we have a real issue in this region with families and individuals who are hungry.
Right.
How can we do this?
Yeah.
Where do we even start? And I think it was extremely organic conversation that actually took shape and took form, and then honestly took both of us, took BayCare and it took Feeding Tampa Bay to kind of trust the process and be willing to fail fast, if you will, and be able to catch those barriers that are going to be in the way as we get to the end point.
We're very good at adjusting.
We are all really good at pivoting
like
and
to
adjusting.
the right, to the right, to the right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're very good at that.
We are.
And ultimately, we deployed that. We started that in the very beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
And we shifted the way our hospitals and our nursing teams do their work, asking patients about food insecurity and actually connecting them with a solution, that healing bag.
Yes.
Right, which is 2 to 3 days of non-perishable food, along with a variety of resources, things like additional food, food locations where they can access food.
Absolutely.
Find help, just a variety of things, because we knew that we weren't naive enough as organizations to think we were going to fix anything necessarily with the healing bag. We were going to create a bridge between when that patient walks out of our hospital and when they're well enough to actually begin to look for resources in their own communities.
Right.
So, yeah,
absolutely.
And to date, we've provided about 38,000 healing bags. Yeah.
Well, I find it really fascinating when you're actually, my mom was at your Van Dyke location off and on for quite a time. And, it comes up on the screen if you're food insecure, and I think from the patient perspective or the patient's family perspective, how uplifting that is that somebody cares to ask. Yeah. We've come into a health space that care more about treating you and how the nurses engage with you and they make sure that you filled out what was on the screen to make sure that you get what you need if you need any help at all. And I just think that's a really big gift to our community. Before we started the show, we were talking about the pit. The pit is a huge success and you love it.
I love it.
One of their topics on there is how rural hospitals are shutting down and people are unable to access proper medical care. And I think since we've been with you guys, you have opened more locations in areas that are accessible by rural communities than you had before. So for instance, North Pasco, Wesley Chapel, over near, I believe, Bartow.
Yeah.
Right? You guys are, instead of like, this is the story on the pit, but that is not really what's happening in our community because of you guys. How do you decide where to go?
That is all in planning and strategy.
Right.
And we look at data just like anyone, right? And we're expanding, we're building in Manatee County right now for the biggest reason is that they don't have a not-for-profit health system in Manatee County. Right. So it opens up doors and opens up access points to people in that county who didn't have it before. So for example, we know that a significant portion of women, pregnant women, are having to go out of the county to get prenatal care or deliver their babies. We're going to be able to come in and be that access point so families can get care at the right time, at the right place, but right where they live, work, play, and raise their families. So that's really critical to how we look at our strategies and our outpatient facilities and things like that.
And how we strategically everywhere.
Put them. Yes.
But it's all chosen by data. For instance, we do this together, right? We have those data maps that the layers load over the top, and it lets us know where, for us, it's a food desert and the population that's on assisted care. Like we have those, and that's what we pay attention to. That's how we choose partners. That's how we do mobile pantries. Yeah. So there's a lot of thought that goes into it. And maybe you need to reach out to the pit and let them know. You need to... You need BayCare in your city. I think maybe that's the problem. So in your role, I mean, you get to do such amazing things as that community connection. What's the most rewarding to you? Do you have a story that you had a moment where you were just, wow, I'm so blessed to do what I do? I have tons of them because of what,
I do too. That's a really hard question. To focus away a little bit more from the programmatic, if I might, for just a second, and speak more to the system.
Yes.
I've been given a great deal of autonomy by our senior executive leadership to say, figure this out. Look at where the problems are and bring it to us. And, and let's develop strategies working with community partners to make it better, and not only for today, but for years to come. And I think one of the things that I'm most proud of and I find most rewarding is that the vast majority of our partners are long-term partners. For example, we've been together 7 or 8 years now, right? Yeah. And the idea is to be able to stay the course. These are not, food insecurity is something we've been dealing with for millenniums, right?
Yes.
So we know that saying hello, shaking your hand, and giving you, oh, here's some money, go forth and prosper, is not going to fix anything. So we are in for the long haul in every way, whether it's access to health and social services, behavioral health access and treatment, anything. And then, of course, into our exercise, nutrition, and weight and food insecurity work, right? We're not getting out. And I think one of the biggest... the moment I knew the day that they hired me, I was in the right place, but really the moment I knew that we were going to be impactful was when I stood in front of the boards and said, I want to do this. We need to do this as a health system, get into the food insecurity space, but we are not getting in if you're going to get out when it gets hard or when it gets expensive, because I promise you it's going to get hard and it's going to get expensive. And since that moment 8 years ago, we have continued to motor forward and do the right thing. And that's just who BayCare is.
Yeah, it's who they've become.
It really is. Yeah.
It really is, by bringing people in like yourself and some of your leadership that you have to present to. You mentioned nonprofit hospital. We know for us, we do a report for the foundation, right? Or our annual report. How does that differ from a for-profit hospital? How does that impact the community in a different way?
Yeah, so not-for-profit hospitals are community-owned, right? For-profit hospitals are
Corporation.
they're a corporation, and they're beholden to their stakeholders.
Okay.
Where we don't have that, and in a not-for-profit health system, it is our role and our mission to treat everyone who comes into our doors with the same dignity and respect, regardless of whether or not they have a gold standard insurance or are completely uninsured. The charge and the treatment and the care is absolutely the same, right? That is just, I think that's the big difference.
Okay.
And then, of course, we do get, as a not-for-profit hospital, we get a tax benefit, right? We're tax exempt in many cases. So it is our charge as a health system to ensure that we are spending way more than into our communities, investing into our communities than we ever would in tax breaks.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
So, for example, in 2025, we did $1.5 billion, $500 million in community benefit across the region, across our 16 hospitals. It's phenomenal amount of money, and really just speaks to the commitment to do that care.
I just feel that it's so important for people to understand when they're making a choice, to choose someone that's behind you. And of course, in our region, we're nearby. And soon in Manatee, there's a BayCare hospital facility or a clinic, or there's something nearby from BayCare. Yeah. So we talked about like rural areas. Are there other hospitals like that have the similar structure? Nobody can be you guys, but a similar structure in communities?
So I think I will share that I believe that BayCare leads the way in many of these spaces. But that said, we do have other not-for-profit health systems in the region, and they all do good work, right? And in many cases at the community level, when we're addressing things like transportation, homelessness, food insecurity, we're working together with our colleagues so that we can drive to a place of collective impact and where everybody's pieces come together for the greater good, right? So I would again always say that, we are leading, and I think that our peers would probably say we're leading as well. But there is one thing I know: if you get sick in the Tampa Bay region, you're going to come to BayCare, of that I know. But if by chance you don't and you land somewhere else, you're going to have really good care no matter what. Yeah. We have great health
have
systems
great
in this region.
We do. We have out in the areas where people can access it. You're even building something in Manatee to take care of expectant mothers and small children. So it's just all the thoughtfulness that goes into it. We have, policies change and benefits change, and we have all this negativity. I just think it's really important for folks to know how hard people work for a positive experience and an outcome for folks, right? So much in our partnership. So we very briefly talked about healing bags, which I'm going to be transparent, I didn't realize that was the first thing we did.
That was, yeah.
And what goes into it, you guys we pack them all here with volunteers. It's all shelf stable.
It is, yes.
They're in your facility, your hospitals. And then when people check out, they're able to be given something that's really healthy for them to start, and those are those connections.
Yeah, so our nursing team asks every single patient about food insecurity. And we ask the 2 standard vital sign questions, the validated questions. Did you run out of food before you had money to buy more? Or were you worried you would run out of food before you had money to buy more? A yes to either of those indicates food insecurity. And then that patient is asked, would you like to take a healing bag home when you're discharged? At discharge, the nursing teams make sure that patient goes home with that healing bag. Yeah. So I will say that our nursing teams are so bought into this and take so much pride in being able to do that. that they have a lot of input for us, right? They're a vocal group that says, hey, these bags are too heavy, and can we do something a little bit different? And, oh, the milk is getting, smashed, and, can we pack them differently? So with that input and working with the team at Feeding Tampa Bay, we've had several iterations. At one point, for example, we had a bag that was for people who were housed, and then another bag for people who were unhoused, right? So because they were lesson learned. They had to be different, right?
Yep.
And now over the past 18 months, we've come to a point where we have a single bag that meets the needs of both populations.
Nice.
And it's lighter and it's more nutrient dense. I mean, so there's all of this,
right?
Iterations and process improvement and making sure that, and we're going to ask the patients.
Yes.
Did you
just like we do, we ask the neighbor, like, how does this work? And just so, our viewers or listeners know, you speak about unhoused, so it's being careful about how you have vacuum sealed that you can tear the top, right?
Yes.
Or pop tops on cans, which are heavier, but so you've probably gone into the bags, which is really great for us. So it's a lot of thoughtfulness and preparation, almost meal prep that goes into they have a few meal options and across the healthy food spectrum, right? Which I think is amazing. And the nurses, yes, they are so supportive and into it. Our next program I want to talk about, you've made it possible for us to grow at such a rapid rate. I believe we had 5 school pantries when you guys got interested in supporting that and making it possible. And now we're almost up to 90 pantries with over 40 are BayCare supported.
Yeah. We support 42 of them across the region.
So what those school pantries are is for all of us that do this together. It is a mini grocery store inside of a school. It often has refrigeration, freezer, anything that you can need. And we make sure that we keep them to capacity, and the families come in and shop, the kids come in and shop, and it's from elementary all the way up to college. And we get wonderful, healthy food out into communities throughout our 10 counties together. And the community helps us as well because they help us keep those fridges full and everything else, right? So it's all about, on the front end of it, the food part, because you need the food to stay healthy. But early on, what we found out is the building a community part.
Absolutely.
And the outcomes from us just being in the building, showing people that we cared enough to make sure that they had a dignified experience and could take care of their children, weren't judged. A lot of our schools added clothes closets, right? Dental coming in for them. Like a lot of our schools have expanded that we work with. And some of our schools have gone from being D schools to B schools. And it all started with our partnership by making sure people had the health care and the food that they need inside of their school, which is in their community. Yeah. And it's a very celebrated program. And
it should be.
It's so amazing.
It's literally the basic tenet of sound public health practice is to bring things to where people are.
Yes.
Right? Don't make it any harder than it already is.
Right.
And reduce the barriers as often as possible. And we find those school pantries, we get so many, and your team sees it too, so many wonderful stories of, oh my gosh, I'm taking care of, my mother passed away and I'm taking care of my 2, younger siblings. When she passed away, her SNAP benefits, they dropped her SNAP benefits, so we didn't have any money, and the only place for us to get food was at this school pantry. Right. That's every day for people, right? Yeah. That's and to be able to have that where you go every day anyway,
right,
to pick up your siblings or your children or whomever,
you're
grandbabies, whoever.
Yep.
It's critically important, and we found too that many of the school pantries open it up to the neighborhood.
I was going to say, that was my next comment, is some of those, we just did a story for Food for Families, which we do annually with Tampa Bay 28. And we did a story that they started at COVID. During the pandemic, they were a distribution center for us. And then they had interest in having their own pantry. So their drop is for the entire community, anyone who needs it. And then they opened the pantry privately for just the students. But we also have schools that have become community schools because of the influence of having a pantry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's amazing.
changed a lot.
Yeah.
A quick story on that. When I first started working at Feeding Tampa Bay, I was in one of those pantries, and there was a mom there that she was just, her kids started shopping because she was late. And she had a smaller child, and I was helping them pick their favorites because their mom was on the way. And she was so defeated. They lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with her 2 older kids. She had a new baby and her parents. And they were all trying to survive in a 1-bedroom apartment. So we just let them do whatever they wanted. And I went to her afterwards and asked if she was okay. And she's like, this is the first time I felt peace, that I can take care of my family. That's huge.
Oh, absolutely.
And we have millions of those stories, and we
Yeah.
tell them as often as we can.
Yeah.
So from school pantries, which we've learned, we started where it was shelf stable. Now we have refrigerators and freezers. We're making sure we have all those healthy foods. Medically tailored groceries.
Yeah. So we are involved in medically tailored groceries as
Yep.
well. We have food clinics located in each one of our counties. And you provide us
Yep.
with fresh fruits, proteins, all of those really important and sometimes high cost items.
Yes.
Right. So we purchase those to make sure that they're in the food clinics. And then the food clinics are open to the community, but we'll often bring in the idea behind the clinic piece is that there's wraparound services in there. So there might be someone who is there to help you identify whether or not you qualify for SNAP benefits. Right. Or maybe we have our faith community nursing team there taking your blood pressure and saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we could look at getting you connected to have, some additional care, some additional treatments.
Let's keep an eye on
and
it.
so it's sort of it's a little cocoon, if you will, of being able to provide food and then also, some additional easy community-based services. I mean, y'all are doing it here, right?
We are.
Yes. So,
But that's
know
why
the
it
value
makes
of
sense
that.
to you, for you guys as an organization to invest in building this building. And we have, medical rooms downstairs. We have mental health. Now we have a brand new partner that we both work with together, that we have a 5-day-a-week clinic that's open from morning till evening to make sure people have access, which is filling up quickly, which we're so proud of. So it's kind of like we continue to grow and learn from each other. And those connections to services are so key, because we know providing food just gives you the strength and the health to be able to, get through all of the challenges that are causing that food insecurity, because it's a symptom, right? So how are we going to connect them to services? How are we going to make sure health is better? You mentioned you have those wraparound services, and I'm going to jump back a little bit, because when we were at our old location, which this team can bleep me out, which Thomas Mance so lovingly calls the shithole. I can't help it. I have to say it every time, because, he's just such a pillar of the community, and he calls it nothing more than that every single time. But so many times having you guys there, even one of our team members wasn't feeling good, and he had a cold sweat, and we went over and we used the machine, and we were able to connect with you guys, and he really had a terrible blood pressure problem that if he would not have addressed that, he was gonna have some serious complications. So having these where people can access them, even if you go into a location that you have the Higgy machines, which I didn't even know what a Higgy machine was, it can tell you all of the things, and you can reach out to someone to get help. So it's just so key and important to have all of those wraparound services and all those key ingredients to a healthy life in one place.
It really is.
So medically tailored groceries, Feeding Tampa Bay. We also have Groceries on the Go, which is a medically tailored grocery thing. And that truck goes out there and serves veterans or, other partners. So it's really important to get that food out. But now I'm super excited, because this took a lot of work. And I want to understand the pathway, because I think it was the longest training, certification, transition, Everything that we do about this is medically tailored meals was just launched in February. It's a test, it's a pilot program, which again, when we talk about data, we don't make a lot of decisions without there being, if you will, proof in the pudding that this is the need and that we're going to succeed at this. So tell us about first the program, and I can respond from the internal what it is, but what were the steps to even say we provide medically tailored meals?
So this was another vision, right?
Yep.
Things start as visions, and then you look for partners. I was really connected with the Food is Medicine Coalition laterally, not super close, but laterally. I knew some people in there, and the medically tailored meal data and the research was just getting so strong. And I said, we can do this. We can figure this out. And so I spoke to some of your leaders and some of the team here, spoke to my team and said, let's just see what happens. Right. And so we got involved. We got involved in the middle of COVID with the Food is Medicine Coalition Accelerator. So we were one of a select few partner organizations around the country that were selected to participate in the accelerator. And you're there for a year, and you're learning from the two gold standards of medically tailored meals. One is community servings in Boston, and the other one is In God's Love We Deliver in New York City. So we were connected with all of their expertise and the Harvard Policy and Law School, talking about how do we pay for these things, right? Like, this is beautiful, but
great idea, but it costs money.
Yes, it does, right? So we just learned from some of the best. But unfortunately, because of COVID, we didn't have the off-ramp built, because you all, and both of us, were really busy with a huge pandemic.
We were responding to disaster.
100%. Absolutely. And so were we. So
very emotional.
Yes.
It was the health, the physical, the lockdowns, all of the things. I mean, you guys were really at your doors with patients. It was a crazy, crazy time for all of this. So many dreams got put on hold.
We tapped out for about a year, and started back up again a year and a half ago. They accepted us because of the COVID issues and so on. We reapplied, and they took us back, and it was just it was affirming at first. But the players had changed. Some players here at Feeding Tampa Bay had changed, and some players at BayCare had changed. So it was a good opportunity to kind of level set and move through the accelerator again together. And ultimately, what the expectation is from the accelerator is that once you're through, within 6 months, you'll have implemented a medically tailored meal program. So we got through all of that, and then to begin the dynamics of who's going to do what, how are we going to get patients referred, what about HIPAA, how are we going to protect patients' privacy, on and on and on. It took a little while longer than we'd anticipated. We had planned to launch in January. Had to hit pause on that, but we launched officially in February and really started to enroll patients in the middle of March.
Yeah.
And as it is a pilot, we're looking at 40 patients over a series of 12 weeks, and then the option to continue them for 12 weeks. And we're studying, if you will, things like reduction in A1C, right, and blood pressure and weight. But the other thing that is so cool, I think, because yes, those are all metabolic things that we can say, yes, Mr. Smith, congratulations, you dropped 0.2 points on your A1C. But we're looking at, how do you feel?
Yeah.
Right? People are knocking on your door once a week saying, hello, how's it going? Here's your food. Here's 14 meals for the next week. We're really happy for you, and, whatever, and that connection. But then they're actually eating healthy food. are you just feeling better?
Yeah.
You
Somebody
know?
cares.
Yeah.
It's always important.
So the 2 data points I think are so important,
Yeah.
right? So we have, I think, 8 patients enrolled right now.
Yep.
So we're on our way.
Yeah.
Just incredibly proud of the kitchen team here at Feeding Tampa Bay, who is just is producing meals that people actually like, right? Because sometimes medically tailored meals can be like off-putting.
Well, first of all,
right?
you say that, and I was like, ew.
Yeah.
But our team has, Doreen, who is a chef in our kitchen. Everything to her is about color and flavor. It has to look wonderful, and it has to taste wonderful. And all the ingredients that she puts into these meals, some of they go frozen.
Yep.
You put your meals in the refrigerator the day before. You bring them out. You either heat them up, or we have a really wonderful meals that you just eat cold.
Yeah.
That are so healthy for you, and they put so much into it. But through that is a monitored recipe.
Yes.
It's monitored by a nutrition professional, right?
Yep.
Has to be approved by them. So it's just such an incredible process. But it's funny, when we launched all of this, and you and I did some media stuff, and we went all over town, and we got news anchors to taste the food and everything else. My favorite was, we were on one of our morning shows, and she didn't like Brussels sprouts. She sat there while she was talking and was eating it because she's like, I can't taste the Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And I think that's a testament to how good these meals are.
Absolutely.
But also, these patients, from what I understand, are critically ill people. They've come out of the hospital. They have health issues that they really need to watch and take care of themselves. They're homebound for the most part. So they meet a certain criteria of someone who really needs someone to care about them.
Yeah.
Really needs someone to invest their time and effort to have them come out on the other side.
Yeah, I think it's, with these patients, we're seeing the A1Cs, right? We're seeing the diabetes, but that's generally not why they're coming into our hospitals, right? They could have other chronic conditions. It could be COPD, for example, cardio obstructive pulmonary disease. Scratch that if you want. I like COPD. But so diabetes, in their blood work,
yes.
right, as they're being admitted or in the emergency department, that's where we step in. That's what we see, right? But so these medically tailored meals are designed to not only address the diabetes piece, but to be nutrient dense, to really mitigate some of the other challenges of other disease burden that patient might also be experiencing.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a very worthwhile undertaking that we're all super proud of, and we have a whole team behind it.
Yes,
our kitchen team, and it's yet another way that together that we're touching and improving this community. And man, I just hope that at the end of that patient, that this test for this program, that we're all really jumping up and down, because we're going to expand.
I feel like
I don't see how it can't.
Yeah,
so much love and effort is putting.
There.
Well, the data's there.
Absolutely,
the need is there, and we're putting so much personal effort into it to make it a wonderful experience. For that person. So, hopefully in the next few years, we'll be offering a lot more of that.
I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, that's all of our prayers.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It is.
So many things with BayCare. We've had a number of your doctors on our podcast. There's some of our podcasts that you can listen to. One doctor was about On Your Sleeves. Came in. She is amazing. And it turns out our kids are friends right in the middle of the podcast. So we want folks to go take a listen to that. And then also flu season. We had an incredible flu last year, and then we just replayed it, that you had one of your chief medical officers come in and give us tips on how to not spread this terrible flu that everybody's experiencing. So we work together on so many things, and I'm just really thankful that you had the time to come in today and do the recap. Number one, for people to understand that there are health facilities, BayCare specifically, but there are other healthcare partners throughout this region that really do care about your health. Absolutely. They really do want to make sure you're doing well. and they're investing in their community. For us, it's you guys. You're the start and stop for all of these things for Feeding Tampa Bay and that partnership, and then just the creativity, the imagination, all the things that go into this, but it all starts with data. We start with our facts. So I believe Feeding Tampa Bay and BayCare are really wonderful, trusted organizations that are helping lift our community. But we want to talk about you for just a minute. We're getting ready to dismount.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you some questions.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm adding one that you didn't know, but
great.
because I know you, cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs.
Tell us really quickly about yours.
So I have a 90-pound chocolate lab, a 70-pound black lab, and a 20-pound Frenchie. Who rules the roost. She's absolutely the funniest, most amazing thing. Yep. I could not imagine my life without any of them.
Right.
But that girl is a party all under herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been a Frenchie mom off and on for a number of years. So I've probably had Frenchies for about 15 years. And they definitely are they're fierce in this tiny little package, and opinions and personality plus, and can look you right in the eyes.
She's got the best side eye, you guys. Like she's
like, really? I love that. And, kind of why I mentioned that a little bit is because at Feeding Tampa Bay, we provide pet supplies and all of that too, because that's family.
That was so important. Just briefly before we offload, I know we're getting to that point, but we partner in disaster time too.
Yes.
Right. And so, when those things happen, the two of us or the organizations
everywhere
are on the phone saying, use this parking lot, at a BayCare hospital, do this, do that. And when we were in the hurricane season, people were just so excited that not only did they get water and food, but there was cat food.
Yep.
And dog food and tarps.
Pet beds, tarps,
so
cages. We had cages because some people were out of their homes and had no way to. We had leashes. We had all the things. So
you really did an amazing job during those disasters, and then with the recent shutdown, it's just
providing all of the things.
Right?
We have. We learn things every time, right? So we have great partners with that. We have Greater Good Charities coming in, and we're actually making. In our free grocery stores, they're going to have an entire pet section that's going to include everything that your pet needs.
Oh, that's fabulous.
From all the things that we provided folks with during disaster, we're going to be able to provide them with it every day.
Oh.
So that launches in June, which I'm super excited about.
That warms my heart so much.
I know. It's the whole family. So that I wanted to bring that up for you. That's a little sidebar.
Yes.
Coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee all day.
Me too. Sunrise or sunset?
Oh, sunset.
Okay. You're not a morning person?
I am a morning person, but the peacefulness of sunset just makes me happy.
With a glass of wine?
Of course.
Is there any other way? So if beyond what you're doing, if you could change or influence with all of your talent that you've lent to this community, if there was something that you don't do already, what would it be?
Something that I don't do, or something I'd like to see more of?
You'd like to see more of, but out of the realm of your experience.
I think as a community, as a region, if we collaborated better, if we, there are so many organizations out there doing great work, but if we actually figured out a way to work better together, like we
do. We're started. We're like scratching the surface in the first couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we could put down kind of the walls of competition and understand that there's room for everybody, right? I think the collaborative efforts would really reap so many benefits that we're not, that maybe we're not seeing right now. But
right. Yeah. We're starting to see, because like here at the Causeway Center, we have over 20 partners that come in, and you have to think about when someone's struggling and seeks something out, like your clinics, you have extra services there. But think about if you're struggling with food, you have so much more going on. So we have from computer literacy and financial literacy classes to connecting with attorneys to, connecting with healthcare, of course, connecting with housing, childcare. Like, you can think of all these things in one place, because you know what happens, and it's because we've asked the questions. When you are struggling and it's so daunting and you have to go to so many fractured different places throughout your community, you give up.
Yeah.
Because it becomes too much.
Yeah.
And with that collaborative mindset that you're talking about, we need to all do this together and bring more people into this mindset, because it's really about the people we serve that we want to lift to stability, right?
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a greater thing for either one of us if we really didn't do as much what we had to do, if we didn't have to serve food, if we didn't have medically tailored meals that are imperative to people to get better. So it's like working together there. I can get off my soapbox now.
No, I mean,
Can you tell? I was just like
you're
sitting up straight.
I mean, I think you're spot on. And once we get past, I think, some of the competitiveness,
Yep.
right, with
Starting.
5 different organizations doing the same work, it does create a bit of anxiety from a leadership perspective, right? Because they've all got their own budgets, they've all got their own, their own teams, and they're very protective. But if we figured out ways to take a little bit from everybody and bring them to the table and say, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I have to say, we do that with Metmen.
Yes.
We do that with Metmen.
Yes.
It's like Feeding Tampa Bay. We have our strengths, right?
Yep.
Healthcare is your strength at BayCare. They have strengths that they offer to folks that we don't have, and we celebrate that, and they're in our building. Not only do we store, their food is stored here, they have office space here, they're in our neighborhood making sure they connect. It's just, and it used to be totally separate,
right?
Like both ends of so opening this facility has kind of started that mindset.
Awesome.
We're hoping for more. Last meal.
Ooh.
It's a tough one. I can paint the picture even more. Not that it would ever happen, but you're hanging out on death row. It's like orange is the new black. You have your last meal coming up.
For me, hands down, it would be chicken nachos with that crazy liquid white queso cheese that I am like addicted to.
Where do you get them? Or you make them?
I'll make them, or we'll go to a couple of places in Palm Harbor. But it has to be white cheese. It can't be like fake. It has to be pure white, like this paper. It can't be a color. It has to be white. Some guacamole.
Okay.
A nice rich glass of Chardonnay, and the vanilla fluff donut from Cosmic Donuts. I'd be good. I'd be all good.
Go ahead. Take me in. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So,
because I'd probably die of cholesterol overdose or something.
Yeah. How often do you eat that, girl? My gosh.
No. It's when I die. It's my last meal.
It's true. You're going to load it all up. Normally we spread it out.
Yeah.
So this is kind of our last question. And it's something that we've asked since we started the podcast. Okay. It's everything good happens around a table. Mm-hmm. Sometimes bad things happen around the table, but we know so many things happen around the table. Mm-hmm. You can invite a few other people to the table to join you. They could be here or they may not. It's someone that you would really feel important to have time with. What is your conversation? And are you serving those donuts? Because they sound delicious.
They're so good. Not mine.
I need to know where this place is, because that's a downfall for me, is a good donut.
It's on 19 in Palm Harbor.
Okay.
So good. So for me, I think I would bring, it might sound a little off the wall or a little unusual.
There's no
but
wrong answer.
I would bring Nat King Cole, Whitney Houston, John Batiste, Gladys Knight, Stevie Wonder, Etta James.
Wow.
Just the rich, Harry Connick.
Oh, yeah.
And Buddy Guy, and, bring them all to a table. And we'd eat vanilla fluff donuts, but we talk about how music changes people. Because all of their music, I am all over the board in music. I love R&B. I love jazz. I love Taylor Swift. So I'm kind of all over the place. But some of those folks are the foundation of some of the really eternal music that we listen to. And I would want to know how they feel, how culture has changed for them and the music industry as a whole. And
and just their stories.
Just their
having all that
stories.
talent around one table would be
amazing, right?
unbelievable.
I know.
Well, thank you so much. I love that. I want to come too.
Yes, you're
right.
Everybody's welcome.
Okay,
Yeah.
and the donuts. I mean, let's not forget the donuts. Lisa, I want to thank you so much. You're an amazing friend to us in our community. You know how much we appreciate the work that we do together as we continue to grow. And our key takeaways today, which was really when I was thinking about having you in, you guys have been on the podcast, is helping people understand how hard healthcare works to support you even before they hit the door.
Yeah.
And how those mindsets have changed. And we really care about the complete person. So thank you for leading the charge on that. And we just get better at it.
We do get better at it. And I would say on behalf of BayCare, I'm one voice, but I know the system as a whole, we value this partnership and this relationship and the beauty of growth together as unusual partners that have come together to do really impactful things. So thank you for having me.
Of course. You'll come back again, I'm sure.
I'll bring donuts next time.
Done. You want to be on the next next month's shows? So, we'll definitely have you back on because, we're going to dream up something else.
I'm working on it. Don't know yet, but I'm working on it.
I knew she was. Thanks, guys. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you.